See, like next one, SQL Server is SQL Server is a collection of 4 servers. As part of SQL Server, we have totally 4 servers are there here. One is a database engine or database server through which we are connecting and working with. Okay. Basically, remember the user queries are processed by which server? Database server or database engine. Okay. Then we have C, IS, RS, AS. Okay. SQL Server Integration Services, SQL Server Reporting Services, SQL Server Analysis Services. Means what? Like as part of SQL Server, remember, totally we have 4 servers. Total we have 4 servers here as part of SQL Server. Okay. So IS, RS, AS. 4 servers are there. So we have seen that these IS, RS, AS comes under what? MSBI part, right? Microsoft Business Intelligence part, actually, MSBI part. Okay, Microsoft Business Intelligence part here, MSBI. Right. So, but remember, like as a database admin, we are not working with MSBI part. That's why IS, RS, AS are not required for us. But sometimes, remember, we'll work with SSIS, SQL Server Integration Services, basically for migration projects. Okay, if you are going to perform migrations from one version to another version, as well as from RQL to SQL, SQL to RP, such type of migration activity we can perform here with SSIS, as well as we can implement automation also with SSIS. Automation means what, like if want to schedule any activity, we can go with automation. Okay, we can go with what? Automation can be implemented by which service? SSIS. Okay, we'll see that one. Okay, yeah, SI and contact yeah, office team, maybe. Okay, check here, like yeah, check here diagrammatically Microsoft is saying database engine is there, yeah, through which we are working. Means any queries are processed by which server? Database engine. Okay, then we have IS is there, RS is there, and AS. Okay. These are the other features that servers of SQL Server. Okay, totally 4 servers are there, but we are working regularly with which server? Database engine or database servers here. Regularly we are working with what? Database engine or database server. Okay, right. Okay, okay. Check here, like that's why when installing SQL Server, remember, we'll get installation checklist. Okay, installation checklist. In the installation checklist, remember, they will mention very clearly, okay, which servers we have to install or which components we have to install. Okay. I will show you installation checklist or installation ticket. I will show you again before going to start installation. Okay, before going to start installation. Uh, yeah, 1 second. Okay, check here understood, right? Database engine is the one where we are working actually. Means any query is processed by which server? Database engine. Okay, so and this database engine again here we have services are there. We have seen any server is a collection of what services. Check here SQL Server, SQL Server Agent. These two are our main services. Okay. Yes, SQL Server is our main service which process the user queries. We have seen agent is for what purpose? Agent is for automation, right? Automation means all the scheduled activities are implemented by which service? Agent service. That is these are the two main services are there for our database engine, right? That's why here whenever we are connecting to SQL Server by using SSMS, okay, so it will ask which server we have to connect, which server you need to connect. It will ask very clearly. Okay, here it is asking server name. Yeah, we can select here see server name, and here see server type is there here database engine AS RS IS. See, these are the server types here. Okay, that's why we are connecting by default to which server? Database engine. Okay, select your database engine, connect, connected successfully. Like this is while installing, remember we'll get installation ticket will get, okay. In the installation ticket, they will mention very clearly which server we have to install, right? Right. Okay. That is what is our four components of SQL Server, or we can say SQL Server is a collection of how many servers? Four servers. Clear, right? Yes. Yes. Okay. So that is yeah. Basically, we can understand here SQL Server is a collection of how many servers? Four servers. Right. Right. So, okay, that's why here see, after connecting, whenever you see SQL server, see, means it is a database server or database engine. Okay, yes, okay. We have seen this in the last class, SQL server components, right? Next one say like SQL Server in a machine. How SQL Server is there in a machine? Important here. For example, one machine is there with the name Server 1. Server 1. Okay. In that machine, let's we have installed SQL Server 2 times. This is here Server 1, Server 1 slash test. 2 times I have installed SQL Server. Okay. Just remember this server name is equal to my system name or host name. That's why generally we'll call this server as default instance. Okay, check here. Understood, right? Here, see, this is my system name. Yeah, this is my system name. Here, see, I have installed SQL Server 1 time, whose name is equal to our system name. So that's why we'll call this instance as default instance. In general, remember, whenever we are installing SQL Server, okay, yeah, now we can see the screen blank. Yes, okay. Check here. This is my, yeah, in general, remember, whenever we are installing SQL Server 1 time, we are calling as one instance. Instance. Okay, so instance is nothing but remember one copy of SQL Server. Okay, for example, let's say banking application is there. In that we can have multiple instances. Multiple instances here. One instance for cards department, one instance for loans department, one instance for net banking. Like this, here multiple instances may be there. Yeah, we have multiple instances. Okay, so why? Because always best practice is, yeah, always better to maintain uh, different databases. Yeah, always better to group the databases into respective instances. Don't put all the databases in a single instance. Always best practice is what? Grouping. Okay, check it. Understood, right? What is instance? Instance is nothing but one copy of SQL Server. Second point, remember how we are creating the instance by running the setup. Okay, by installing SQL Server, we are creating the instance. Okay, right. You see, two instances are there: server one slash okay, this server one is called here default instance, whose name is equal to my system name. Here see server one slash test is there. It is called named instance. Named. Okay, two types of instances are there: default and named instance. This is our default instance whose name is equal to our system name. This is our named instance. Okay, yeah. Check here again. In the instance, we have databases here, one or more database. Again, here in each database, we have a schema under the tables. Okay, so basically, remember here, schema is like a folder. Okay, to group the similar tables, remember we have schemas. to group the similar tables we have, schemas are there here. Okay, just a schema is like a folder. We'll see later in security. For example, let's say college database is there. In college database, we can have different schema like library schema, hostel schema. Okay, so like this here, just to group the tables, we have schemas. Why? Because in one database we have 5,000 tables are there. Which table is for what purpose, right? That's why we have to go with what schemas. We have to use the schemas. Check it like our sample database is there in SQL Server. We have sample database, Adventure Works database. If I go to tables, how the tables are there here? Human resources dot person dot DBO dot, right? Just remember this human resources is a table name, schema name, dot department is a table name. Okay, person is a schema name, dot address is a table name. Okay, yes, just here like schema name dot table name. Okay, why? Because like we can understand easily all these tables are related to HR department, right? Yes. So tomorrow if you want to grant permission on all these tables, no need to grant on one by one table. Directly we can grant on schema. Human resources is there here one schema. On the schema level we can grant the permission. Like this here various benefits are there, we'll discuss later. Just remember schema is nothing but what? Schema is basically used for grouping the objects or grouping the tables here. Schema is basically for what? Grouping the tables. Okay, clear, right? Yeah, this hierarchy we have to understand very clearly. Okay, in a machine we have one or more, in one machine we have one or more instances here. In one machine we have one or more instances. Under instance we have databases. Under DB schema, under that objects. Objects are there like tables, views, stored procedures, various things. Objects. Okay, right, right. Clear, right, for all people. Any confusion is there? Anvesh Muttiya, Pilekar, also means how SQL Server is there in a machine. Okay, once again remember, in one machine we can have maximum 50 instances. Okay, under each instance remember we have databases. Okay, under instance we have database. In one database we can have here 32,760. Sorry, in one instance we can have 32,767 databases. Under database we have schemas, one or more schemas. There is one. Under that objects, nothing but tables, views, stored procedures, functions, everything. Again, same number of objects here. Each database can have 32,767. This is the hierarchy is there here. Hierarchy is there. Okay. So what is the hierarchy there in SQL Server? Clear for all people, very, very important for us. Clear or any confusion is there? Please type in the chat panel. One second. Just one participant is unable. Right, right. Check here. This is the instance hierarchy we have to understand. Check here in my machine, we have multiple instances in my machine. Go to my server. Check here. If I right click, if I go to File, Connect, Server Name, Browse for more. See here, Database Engine. Right. So check here. This first instance name is equal to my system name, right? Or info system name. That's why we are calling it as a default instance. Okay. Whose name is equal to what? System name is called what? Default instance. Okay. Yes. So after that, we have here so many named instances. Here, system name slash some name means all these are named instances. Okay. Right. Right. Generally, say like per machine number, we can have only one default instance. We can have 49 named instances. One default instance, this one here, first one. One default instance is allowed per machine. 49 named instances. Total 50 instances per machine. Okay. So check here, this is my named instance here. Whenever we see system name slash some name, it is what? Named instance. Under instance, we have databases. Under database, we have here schema. Under that, objects here, tables. Under schema, we have tables are there. Okay, right. So that is like a hierarchy we have to understand very clearly. I think it is clear, right, for all people. Ravi, Shiva, Vivek, it is clear how SQL Server is there in a machine. Nandan, can use the chart panel. Chart option is there, so you can use it. Okay, so if any simple doubts are there, please. Already I've said like all these basic things are important for us. Okay. If any simple queries are there, any simple doubts are there, yeah. Okay. Yeah. That is like a definition is there. Here. Instance is nothing but separate copy of same software product is called instance. We can have maximum 50 instances. Maximum 50 instances per machine. One default instance, 49 named instances. Every instance has here its own binary sign. Two types of instances we have seen, default and named instance. Yes, in general, every instance has its own services, right? Yes. So main service is a SQL Server, right? So two main services are there, right? Every instance has two main services. One is SQL Server service. Second one is what? Agent service, right? This is SQL Server service. Second one is what? Agent service. SQL Server agent. What is the purpose of agent service? Yeah, agent service is basically for what purpose? For automation. Automation, right? Means what? Anything we can schedule here, see, with help of agent service. We have jobs are there. alerts, everything we can configure here for automation actually. Yeah, SQL Server service is our main service which process the queries. Agent is basically for what purpose? For automation. As a DBA, remember already we have seen 85% tasks we are going to schedule, right? So manually we can't take backup, manually we can't implement everything. That's why we are going to schedule the activities. Those scheduled activities are executed by which service? Agent service. Scheduled activities. Clear, right? Yes. Yeah. So that is yeah. Then next one say like instance summary is there before going to go with custom installation. So very, very important here. Instance summary. What are the major components are there with every instance? Okay. What are the major features are there with every instance? That is the instance summary. Check here what are the major features are there. So every instance has four major components here, which we have to understand very clearly, which is important for us. One is there every instance has its own services. Already we know, already we know any instance is a collection of what? Services. Okay, instance is nothing but what? Server. We have seen. Two main services we have discussed, right? SQL Server and SQL Server Agent services, right? Every instance has two main services, SQL Server and SQL Server Agent, right? Right. So, but see some other services are there. Later we'll see. Just we have to understand SQL Server and SQL Server Agent. We have to understand. It's clear, right? SQL Server, SQL Server Agent. SQL Server is our main service which processes the user queries. Agent is for what purpose? Agent is for automation. Okay. Agent is for automation. Means all the scheduled activities are implemented by agent service. Then sir, every instance has its own folders. Every instance has its own folders. By default, remember whenever we install SQL Server, automatically with basic installation, automatically 6 folders are created. With custom installation, remember, automatically 8 folders are created. With basic installation, 6 folders are created. With custom installation, remember, 8 folders are created. Okay. Yes, yes. Just remember, like every instance has its own folders, okay, which are important for us. Check here what are the folders are there. For example, yesterday in the last class, we have installed one instance. We'll see how many folders are created. See here, this, right? Browse for more database engine. Okay, this is it. The last class we have installed this instance, right? Yes, yes. Okay. Yeah, we can see here, see this instance has how many folders. Check, connect to the instance. Okay, connected successfully. Right click on instance name, properties. Here see root directory. See here we can check say this instance is installed in which path we can check here. See in root directory. Okay. Yes, installation path we can see here in the root directory. Okay, copy this path. Go to run, paste. Okay. See here, we have, yeah, I have installed this instance by selecting what basic installation, right? See here, automatically we have 6 folders are there here. This is our main folder, MS SQL Server 04. Okay. Under that MS SQL, under that here 6 subfolders are there. 6 subfolders are there. Like I said, like every instance has its own folders. Just remember, if you are going with basic installation, we have minimum 6 folders are created. If you are going with custom installation will show you after this concept. We have 8 folders are created. In case of a custom installation, automatically 8 folders are created. Okay, these are like different folders are there here as part of every instance. Check here very briefly, we'll see later, we'll discuss in detail. Backup is a default folder for backups. Means what? Whenever we take backup of database, any database, just remember backup is nothing but what? Copy. Backup is nothing but what? Copy. Copy of database. Okay. Yes. So whenever we take backup of database, remember by default backup is generated here like in which folder? Backup folder. So asks backup. Check here. Master.dak one backup is created into which folder? Backup. Like this, backup is a default folder for backups. Bin is there here, which is binaries folder. Means instance main files are there. Instance exe and dll files are there in bin folder. Okay, right, right. So just here bin folder maintains what? Instance binaries. We are not working with this folder. Okay. Generally remember this bin and install are called software folders. Right. So that's why software folders here. Bin and install are called software folders. Means see, whenever we submit the query to SQL Server, how that query is executed. So the queries are executed here yeah, queries are executed after which server, by uh, which files, the files which are there in bin folder. By using that file, remember, the queries are executed. Let's remember tomorrow if I uninstall SQL Server, only these 2 folders are deleted. Remaining folders are there same as it is. Okay. Yes. So, yeah, that is like bin and install folder. Data folder is there here. Data folder maintains all the database files. Means what? Whenever we create a new database, remember, automatically its files are created in which folder? Data folder. Already we know every database has 2 files, right? By default, remember every database has 2 files. data file and log file or transaction log file. Okay, so whenever I am creating one new database, for example, I am saying sales database I am creating. Okay, check here like automatic already exists. It is saying automatically remember this database files are some unique name. Just okay. Automatically remember this database is created successfully. This database files are created in which folder? Data folder. Go to data folder. Here see sales. See here sales 999. This is the data file. This is the log file. Clear, right? Means what? By default, whenever we create a whenever we create a new database, automatically files are created into which folder? Data folder. Then jobs folder is there. Already we know the purpose of jobs is what? Automation, right? Yes. So whenever we create the jobs, remember the information is generally stored here. Generally not required this folder, but the log folder is there. Very very important folder. Log folder. Log folder maintains here error logs. Error logs. The purpose of error log is what? Anything happen in SQL Server tomorrow, like log shipping fail, mirroring fail, replication fail. So immediately remember, immediately we have to check which file, error log file. Okay, we can open this error logs here, first log with notepad. We can see here. Okay, if any errors are there, we can check here. So see here, some errors are there here. Something cannot create the file because already exist. Okay, error number something. Like this, like if any errors are there in SQL Server, yeah, that's why remember our job is what? As a DBA, our job is what? Troubleshooting, right? Yes, that's why as part of troubleshooting, always we have to check this error log, this current log. Okay, so in this current log, we can see exactly what error is there. Depends on the error, we can plan for troubleshooting. We can plan for troubleshooting. Understood, right? That's why remember error logs are very, very important for us. Error logs are very, very important for us. Why? Because our regular job is troubleshooting. Okay, our regular job is troubleshooting. See. Yes, yes. So these are the folders are there. Just remember, bin and install are called software folders. Data folder maintains database files. Backup folder is a default folder for backups. Log folder is there. Log folder maintains what? Error logs. If somebody is working with Oracle, in Oracle we have alert logs are there. Here we have error logs here. Okay, right. Understood, right, all people? If any questions are there, please type in the chat panel. If any simple doubts are there, please use the chat panel. In chat panel, you can, or if you say like unmute, so I can unmute you, like you can this. Okay, question. Okay, yes, that is the instance summary we are discussing. Every instance has its own services. Every instance has its own folders. Okay. Yes. Then say like every we have one more generally in custom installation we'll get some two more folders REPL data and the data. We'll see later. Okay, let's see every instance has system databases. Check here by default, whenever we install SQL Server, automatically 5 system databases are created. Automatically 5 system databases are created. Okay, so check here these system databases maintains instance metadata. Means what? In this instance, how many databases are there? How many logins are there? On which database, what feature is there? What is the database size? That complete metadata is there in these system databases. By default, remember, whenever we are installing SQL Server, automatically 5 system databases are created. Master model MSDB, TempDB, plus resource. Resource is a hidden database. Check here under databases, we have system databases. Here we can see 4 system databases here. Resource is a hidden database. We'll see why it is a hidden database later. We'll see. Just remember, every instance has by default how many system databases? 5 system databases. Just we'll see what is what about these databases. Later we'll see in detail. First one's here, master database. Master database maintains, remember, instance level metadata. Instance level metadata is it? Means what? Complete data, complete instance information is there in master database. Means whenever we start SQL Server will go to master, it will read the settings, then with that settings, instance is started or server is started. Okay, thus remember, master is a startup database of SQL Server. Master is a startup database of SQL Server. It's not whenever we start SQL Server will go to master. It takes all the settings, then the server is started. Okay, right. Next one here, MSDB database is it. MSDB database maintains total automation information. Means all the schedules are there here in MSDB, like jobs, alerts, all are there here in MSDB. And we have seen that already, we have 2 major services are there in SQL Server and SQL Server Agent, right? Agent is for what purpose? For automation. So automation is implemented by which service? Agent service, by taking information from MSDB. In MSDB, all the details are there, jobs, alerts, everything. So that complete information, automation information is there in which database? MSDB, which is used by agent service. Just remember, tomorrow if MSDB is corrupted or damaged, agent service will not start. Okay. Yes, yes. Next one's here, model database is there. Name itself is saying model, it is a template for new databases. Template for new DBs. Means what? Whenever we create a new database, okay, the database is created with how much size, with what default settings. Okay, so the size of database, all the default settings are taken from which database? Model database. Clear, right? Model database is a template for new databases. Okay, right now, if I go to model properties, files, just here I will change data file size to 8 MB, log file size to data file size to 80, log file is 8 MB. Okay, now see here, whenever we create a new database, the new database is created with the same size. See here, okay, 80 MB, 8 MB, same size. Like this, we can understand here, see, like how the model database means, what is the purpose of model database? Purpose of what? Model database. Okay, right, right. Okay, next here, like TempDB database is there, another important database. TempDB database maintains, remember, all the temporary objects. Okay, temporary objects are there in TempDB, like temporary tables, temporary stored procedures. Just remember, TempDB is like our system's RAM. Okay, whenever you open some application, it uses a space in RAM. Once you close the application, memory is released. Right? Same thing, remember, any database query can use a space in what? TempDB. For further processing, remember, any database query can use a space in TempDB to prepare the output. We'll talk about this in detail later okay, which is important for us. Okay, then resource database is there, which is hidden database. It is not listed in the databases list here. Okay, and this resource database is used for patching purpose. We'll talk about that later again. These are various system databases are there as part of SQL Server. Master and MSDB, TempDB, these three are important databases. And see, every instance has its own error logs we have discussed, right? Error logs. Purpose of error log is what? Yeah, anything happen in SQL Server. If any error is there in SQL Server will write very clear message into which file, error log. So, by using that error message, we can plan for troubleshooting. Right. So just now we have seen the error logs are there in which folder? Log folder of respective instance. Here we can open the error log with Notepad. We can see. Okay. As well as here, once we connect to the instance in SQL Server Management Studio, under Management we have SQL Server logs are there. So here also we can see the log. Okay. First year current log, we can see here, see, errors are there. Depends on this error message, we can plan for troubleshooting. Clear, right? Yes. So that's remember our regular job is troubleshooting. That's why as part of our course, we'll focus more on troubleshooting part. That's why while discussing troubleshooting, some confusion may be there. No need to worry. Anyhow, I'm recording every class. You can go through the class 1-2 times. In the same way, yeah, we can discuss actually. No need to worry. Okay, if any confusion is there, we can type in the chat panel. We can discuss. No need to worry. Already have said I will provide you my WhatsApp number also. You can send a message to my WhatsApp. Confusion is there. Okay, right. Let's see. We'll conclude the session once again. Just here today we have seen types of instances. We have seen two types of instances. We have discussed default and named instance. After that, we have seen instance summary. We have discussed what are the major components of every instance which we have to work regularly. Okay, right. We'll continue again tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll see custom installation, how we are doing installation in real time. I will show you installation ticket. Okay, how we'll get the ticket to start to go to perform SQL Server installation. What is there in that ticket? We'll see. Later I will show you custom installation. Okay, right.